On March 30th of 2025, Neptune takes the great journey from Pisces into Aries. Neptune takes 165 years to go around the Sun and spends about 14 years in each sign. But the step from Pisces, the watery energy, into the fiery fire of Aries is a big one for Neptune. And it's going to be very meaningful for us as well. But I would take this time to actually share with you some of the downloads and some of the insights that I feel may become themes in this next period of Neptune in Aries, beginning on March 30th, 2025, until 2039. So here are some of those themes. First, I want to explain that Neptune is moving out of Pisces, which is water, and it's moving into Aries, which is fire. So there's a huge elemental shift and change in that. And that is going to have tremendous repercussions for us. And one of the ways I feel that we will experience that is through drought. I feel there's going to be a lot of drought in the world, and not only in the normal places where there is often drought, but in unexpected places as well where there's never been drought. I also feel that there will be many more wildfires, fires that are out of control and that cause great destruction. But one of the very positive things that I see coming to fruition in this next 14 years is a shift and a change in our leadership, not only on a global level or on the level of like our government, but also in neighborhoods and in communities. And what do I mean by this? I mean that Aries is the sign of leadership, of those who are brave and courageous and wishing to go first and lead. And Neptune is the great spiritualizer. So I feel there will be an uptick in spiritual leadership. Leaders leading from the heart who have had a very deep spiritual connection and make decisions based on that. A new form of leader, an elder that is respected and honored in communities, in neighborhoods, on the state level in America, and also in the government. So I feel that there will be a huge shift in that. There's also, though, a caveat, and this is what I'm feeling is actually one of the most important issues that is going to be happening for us as a species over the next 14 years, and that is discernment. Discernment. Because not only will there be wonderful, heart-leading, spiritual leaders, there will also be fakes. Leaders who are deceiving their followers. And it is up to each one of us to have done the work spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, so that we can really discern who is who. This is going to be the crux of these next 14, 20, 25 years. Because so much information is coming to us. On a daily basis, it is overwhelming sometimes. And it's very hard sometimes to see what is true and what is not. And this is why, especially with the amount of AI working with video, being manipulated so that it is showing false narrative, which is happening already. Can you imagine where AI will be in 5 years and what it will be able to do? How are you going to know what is real and what is not? There's only one way to know that. And that is to be really, truly grounded and connected with your own divine self. I also see a big chasm between groups of people in the society where many groups will leave the mainstream. We have already fringe groups that set up their own communities outside of the mainstream society, but I see that multiplying ad infinitum, where there will be tribes of people living in a very different way than the mainstream society. And coupled with that, some of those tribes of people will also be really taking on a deep feeling of victimhood, feeling like their group is being persecuted and so forth. That will actually really ramp up. And there will be other tribes and groups that are very spiritual and very high. I see a lot of innovative and inventive weaponry in the military, and I see them as you don't know that they're there, these weapons. They're not like somebody takes out a gun or a big bomb. No, it's very, very subtle and almost unseen. Actually, I think that will be the theme of it. They will be unseen. Fire and water together, it creates a steam. So something like a gas that disappears after it has mortally wounded the opposition. I also see that people who are connected with their true selves, spiritually, emotionally grounded, that they will be the leaders in the community, not the wealthy or the very interconnected businessy tycoons, for example. No, the people that will be the most respected and counted on are the people that are intuitive, aware, alive, awake, caring, compassionate, loving, kind. Those will be the new leaders of our communities, and they will be the people that people refer to and request help from. I also do see a retirement crisis. We have a little bit of it right now, but I see it exploding, where so many people don't have any resources after they can't work anymore. That there is a huge part of the population that can't look after themselves. And what do we do with them? This is going to be a really big problem for all of us to solve and figure out. I see many people opening up their hearts and becoming incredibly compassionate and loving and kind. That there's a real spiritual evolution of our own collective consciousness. Some people will be splintered off from that and living in another kind of distorted view. But many, many people will have this beautiful evolutionary jump to a new way of living, a new enjoyment of life, a new enjoyment of simplicity in life, a new way of relating to one another, a new way of relating to their work, a new way of relating to their art, a new way of seeing the world and their place in it. Speaking about the people that are splintered off with the kind of distorted view, I feel that there will be many people who will be living in a kind of cyber world where they have nothing to do with reality except when their body breaks down and they need medical help. But it's going to be very draining, that kind of experience. We're already seeing how being attached to a phone and scrolling through social media, for example, has already deteriorated so much of our population's self-esteem and feeling more isolated even though social media was supposed to make you feel more connected. It has the opposite effect. So one of the things I would like to suggest, if I may, is for you to decrease the amount of social media that you do. I've taken off all my social media off my phone because I had heard an expert speaking about social media where they said the way that we're looking through social media daily for hours sometimes as a society, we will have spent on average 20 years of our lives scrolling through social media. That's what you want to do with your life? Look at other people's ads? Please, for your own sanity and your own feelings of good self-worth, limit the amount of social media that you go through. I also feel, and this one's a bit weird, and it has to do with Pluto also in Aquarius, but I feel like there is going to be, over the next 14, 15, 20 years, a decrease, a marked decrease in procreation. And I feel that though the amount of ways that you can name your sexual preference and all the wonderful myriad of ways of expressing that there won't be many people actually getting together, especially in the younger generations. There's going to be a lot of asexual behavior while promoting a sexual identity. One of the other things, unfortunately, that I do see is a continued trajectory of many people suffering with addiction to drugs and alcohol, and that the drugs are actually even going to be more powerful and more lethal. I also see that the people who have taken on the mantle of evolving spiritually and opening their hearts and minds to these new levels of understanding and new levels of appreciating actually who they are. I feel like they will be working towards this evolution of becoming beings of light. So these next 2 years, 2025 and 2026, are very important. Pluto is already in Aquarius. Pluto moved from Capricorn, an earth sign, into Aquarius, an air sign. Now we've been talking about Neptune moving from Pisces, a water sign, into Aries, a fire sign. Then we're going to have Uranus moving from Taurus, an earth sign, into Gemini, an air sign. And we're going to then have Saturn in 2026 moving from Pisces into Aries, a fire sign. So we're having these 4 huge, important outer planets all moving from water and earth into fire and air. This is very important because fire and air move very quickly. Air disperses immediately. Fire eats everything and keeps going. It's almost unstoppable. There's going to be an amazing opportunity for us as a species to rapidly advance. And because Uranus is moving into Gemini, Uranus rules the internet, rules the future inventions, rules AI and cryptocurrency and so forth. It's moving into Gemini, an air sign all about communication. And there's going to be nothing that's stopping it. It is going to just explode. It will explode. You will not recognize this world in 10 years. It will be like the difference between when Ford first put their first car out in 1903 to today, when you see the most amazing cars going at lightning speeds. Condense that into 10 years. That's how different it's going to be. The inventions to do with healthcare, to do with medical operations and surgeries, the advancement in AI itself and its ability to help us communicate will